Hello and welcome to this special edition Drumcastle Irish Whiskey Revisited. I reviewed this about 5 years ago and my daughter did a dual review with me. And I said, well, let me go buy it again. They put it back on sale, $14.99. So I have to go over 30 miles away to get it. It's not sold in this town, but I can get it at Albertsons. You might be able to find it at Jewel Osco, Bonds, Amigos, USA Grocery, etc. I think it's a contract or private label for the Albertsons grocery stores. Could be wrong. Master distilled imported Drumcastle elegant and smooth Irish whiskey, a blend of 100% Irish whiskey, mellowed in a combination of bourbon and wine oak barrels for 3 years. So they use ex-bourbon barrels and old wine barrels and they age it for 3 years. So see what it says, blended by master distillers of Irish whiskey, 80 proof. On the back it says, bottled by the Founders Company, Louisville, Kentucky. And that's Sazerac. You can see it's a Sazerac bottle. It's got that lip at the bottom. I mean, they have telltale signs. And I think Sazerac's Irish whiskey is actually produced at Middleton Distillery. Okay. I should have that bottle of Paddy's up here because that's also produced at Middleton, even though it's owned by Sazerac now. There's not that many distilleries in Ireland, mass production distilleries. Okay, they haven't changed the label since they came out with this. There are not many video reviews. Okay, but there are some. The online reviews, the few they have are positive. Okay, so it's very light, very, very, very pale straw. And that is making me think they are not bothering to add coloring to it since it is so incredibly light. As opposed to some of these which are almost amber. Definitely a honey sweetness. Honey, there's really honey and maybe grain and definitely white bread crust. So could this be a higher percentage of single malt whiskey than just 20%? I guess it could. Now, are the oak and wine barrels going to make an impact? I don't know. Let's go. Cheers, taste. I wish I had not read that because it's making me think now like a white wine influence. White wine barrel. Maybe bourbon, but really I would never guess that, not knowing that. And I would have just said a lot of honey notes. When I first had this, I thought it had like peated notes. But I'm not picking that up. Not now. Honey, grain, whiskey, like corn, white bread dough, medium body, medium long finish. It kind of reminds me of Paddy's actually, but maybe a little better than Paddy's and a good deal cheaper, $14.99. Now I don't know how long they're going to run that sale. The tag said they're going to run it until 2023, like the spring of 2023. Of course, that's subject to change overnight, but I went back a month later. There it was, same price, $14.99. Don't think it's sold in any other size but the 750. Haven't seen the 1,750. Haven't seen smaller bottles. There was only like 3 bottles left when I bought this, and normally you'll see about 36 bottles on the shelf. You buy cases and pack it and it moves, it moves, it moves. There's a little sting to it in the mouthfeel. It's a thoroughly pleasant whiskey. If you're looking to save money and you want to get a really good triple distilled Irish whiskey aged in ex-bourbon and ex-wine barrels. And I think the availability is pretty wide. Just go on a search engine, Bing, Yahoo, Google, Google, and type in Drumcastle Irish Whiskey, and you'll see links one after the other. There's no website for this product. But in a practical way, there is a website, because there'll be all the links to the stores, and then they'll have a description of the product, which is obviously coming from the company's sell sheet. But it doesn't say a whole lot. I mean, really, it's just, so we don't know the history. We know it was introduced in 2016. I did trademark research. We don't really know who makes it, although I'm suspecting it's Middleton Distillery in the middle of Ireland. And I do know it's Sazerac, because I know the founder's company is one of the Sazerac registered alias brands, what the U.S. government calls an assumed name. So I would say not colored. Probably chill filtered. I love the honey note. Honey, and it's almost like vanilla also. So the vanilla could be coming, from the bourbon barrel. I hadn't thought of that until just now, the bourbon barrels. So I'll give it a solid A. 94 out of 100. You say you're crazy, you're crazy. $14.99 for an A product, an A whiskey. That's not possible. That does not happen. Well, it did happen. And I score for me. I'm tasting it. I can't taste it for you, and you can't taste it for anybody else. So we have to evaluate these, and like I say, call it as we see it. And I'm trying to be honest, and I'm doing the best I can, and I'm seeing a solid A. And Sazerac has a tendency to put out very low priced products, many of them private label, for Total Wine and More, and Albertsons, which I don't know if those are technically private label, and for Walmart too. Same thing there, because I'll see them at other stores that are in no way affiliated with Walmart, like the Caliber Canadian blended whiskey. They say it's registered to Walmart Apollo. That's their legal name, Walmart Apollo. But there was a Rouse's, so, and I've seen Caliber at other private, what we call mom and pop liquor stores. So I don't know really. I don't think they're technically private label, but they're probably predominantly so. But so is it possible you could see this at a mom and pop liquor store? Yeah, yes, I wouldn't be shocked. But I wouldn't expect it either. Great product. But they have a tendency to put out great products at that price point. I mean, $8 to $20. The D.W. Anders brandy. The Canadian Crest. It's a pretty nice Canadian blended whiskey when you consider it's $6.99 a bottle. There's a Canadian Reserve, which I've not tried yet. I know who's making it. So, but anyway, there's so many you can't keep up. You just can't. Sazerac's is like putting them out like a machine. So, great product. So, Les Le Bon Temps Relais, a most excellent product. And I'm going to end this review by saying, y'all go to your local grocery store. Well, in Louisiana, grocery stores sell liquor. Your local liquor outlet, and get Drumcastle blended Irish whiskey.